After winning the Alola championship, Xiaozhi returned to his hometown. Just as he was about to advance towards the summit of the world, the regret compensation system is attached to him. The system can take him back to the past, make up for the regrets he left behind, and make him stronger. Latios died. Congratulations on completing the Water City dungeon. Latios has been resurrected, and Latias has become your elf. Quartz Conference Fire-breathing dragon disobedient. Congratulations on using the Spitfire dragon alone to complete the Quartz Conference dungeon. The Spitfire dragon has gained the potential to step into the realm of gods. Winning by a hair's breadth at the Silver Conference. Congratulations on using the Spitfire dragon to defeat the Yi Flame Chicken in the Silver Conference dungeon and obtain the Spitfire dragon Mega Evolution Stone. Gold heals the sword in hand. Congratulations on crushing Alan with full power in the Mier Conference, fully controlling the power of the Waveguide in addition to the dungeon world, making up for regrets in the real world can also earn rewards. Congratulations on becoming a companion with Xiaoxia. Congratulations on becoming partners with Selena. Congratulations on becoming a partner with Helona. Falun Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Making up for regrets and strengthening the system. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The wind is sunny and the sky is clear for thousands of miles. On a sunny day, a young man was sleeping soundly in his own home. There is also a lean yellow-skinned mouse beside the young man. It looks like it's been through countless battles. In this small room, there are many photos and various small badges. In addition to the badge, there are also 2 sparkling golden trophies. These things all represent the glory of this young man. The boy's name is Xiaozhi. He is 16 years old this year. Starting from the age of 10, I set off from Jinshin town to travel around the world. It has been 6 years now. I have participated in countless competitions, big and small. Unfortunately, in the official honor competition, his best result was only the runner-up. Until a year ago, he went to a small island that was temporarily not included in the official alliance. On the island, he made many friends, obtained stronger power, even participated in the first alliance conference held by the island. That was the official conference held by Alola just after joining the alliance. At that conference, he won the championship and became the true champion of Alola. This is not a league championship, but a league championship. Xiaozhi, 16 years old, is the champion of the Alola League and the youngest regional champion player in history. Although in terms of region, this champion is a bit of a wild chicken, but the pheasant champion is also a champion. However, Xiaozhi is not proud of this champion at all. There are still many things he needs to learn and grow. Today is his 3rd day back from Alola. In a few more days, Dr. Sakuraji's Research Institute, a student of Dr. Daiki, will be opening. He will be ready to go and give a show then. Today is a rare day for Xiaozhi to fall asleep without anyone disturbing him. However, make up for the regret that the system has started. This system adheres to the principle of compensating for regrets and attaches to the host. The host only needs to obtain rewards through the regrettable instance of the system to become stronger. The past dungeon will be opened with the host's master ranking. Please actively participate in the World Championships and become the world champion in that competition. Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi. The confused little intelligence suddenly got up from the bed. The brown eyes were full of confusion and confusion. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Pickup truck. Pickup truck. Xiaozhi's sudden rise also woke up Pikachu, who was sleeping soundly beside him. He rubbed his eyes with his 2 short hands, drowsy-eyed, looking at Xiaozhi with a bewildered expression. He spoke up and asked Xiaozhi. Why did Xiaozhi wake up so early when there was no alarm clock today? Pikachu's level 10 intelligence naturally understood what Pikachu was saying. Pikachu, listen to me. There was a sound in my mind just now. Pikapi. Pikachupika. Xiaozhi, did you dream? Dreaming. Xiaozhi scratched his head and also had some doubts. Did he sleep too soundly and treat the contents of his dreams as reality? But the sound I just heard was too profound. What is it to make up for regrets? What is it about the World Championships and so on? Is that really a dream? Just as Xiaozhi was thinking this, he casually looked at Pikachu beside him, then the eyes could no longer be moved away. Several lines of text appeared next to Pikachu. Name. Pikachu, gender. Male, attribute. Electricity, skills held. 100,000 volts, thunder, power grid, steel tail, lightning flash. Feature. Static electricity, there is a 30% chance of paralysis when using contact-type moves to attack Pokémon with this feature. Potential. Level. Champion, dot. Carrying items. None, intimacy. 255, full value of 255, Xiaozhi Pikachu's hidden characteristics. Strong when encountering strong, weak when encountering weak. Strong when encountering strong, weak when encountering weak. Faced with a strong opponent, give them a certain amount of time to slowly enhance to their level. Faced with a weak opponent, they will become like the opponent in a very short time. The probability of triggering the feature is 50%, note. Smart features are exclusive to Pokémon and can be either positive or negative. However, the reward for the task can turn all features into positive ones. Note 2. Please host Xiaozhi to complete the first instance task as soon as possible. Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi rubbed his eyes hard, but the strange interface in front of him was still floating beside Pikachu. Pikachu tilted his head and looked at him with a bewildered expression. It's as if I don't know what he's looking at. Pikachu. Can't you see Pikachu? The light curtain around you. Pikachu. Pikachu. Pikachu raised his hand, looked left and right, and then clasped a question mark all over his head to look at Xiaozhi. His trainer won't have any brain problems, will he? Is it because he uses too much 100,000 volts on a regular basis, which has electrocuted Xiaozhi's brain? No, can't you really see it? Don't ask the host, this is the host's exclusive benefit, and you can see your own Pokémon attributes. No one can see this light curtain except the host. A mechanical sound echoed in Xiaozhi's mind, surprised Xiaozhi. Who? Come out. Pi. Pikapi. Pikachu Pika. Xiaozhi, are you okay? If not, let's go to the hospital. Watching Pikachu's worried expression, Xiaozhi finally confirmed, that voice can only be heard by oneself, that is to say was everything before, including now, not a dream. What kind of regret compensation system has really possessed him? P.S. Due to the age change of Xiaozhi, it is not the constant age of 10 years, so regarding some time and age issues, we need to adjust them here. Firstly, there is the youngest champion. The original 10-year-old world champion of Xia, that is undoubtedly the youngest champion. At the age of 10, Dundee won the league championship, and even the Chaldean regional championship was impressive, but Xiaozhi is also a 10-year-old crown, saying that he is the youngest crown without any problems. Therefore, after adjusting for age, Xiaozhi is still considered the youngest regional champion. The regional champions of Dundee and Zyrona have been adjusted to be 18 years old, as we all know. Chapter 2. First Dungeon. Quartz Conference. You are listening at novelfull.audio. System. Host, I am here. You just need to silently recite in your heart to awaken me. Pick up, pick up. Pick up, pick up. Pick up, pick up. Mom. Xiaozhi is crazy. You're crazy. Don't worry about me for now, let me study it. Speaking, Xiaozhi sat cross-legged on the bed, holding Pikachu in his arms. At this moment, the light curtain around Pikachu had disappeared and disappeared, but as long as he wants to see, the light curtain around Pikachu can appear at any time. This incredible phenomenon proves that, everything he sees now is not fake. The voice in his mind is explaining the function of this system to him. Who is the developer of the system? I'm not sure. Why did you find him? I'm not sure. Anyway. It can help him become stronger. Just like the name of the system, making up for regrets can make it stronger. Actually, Xiaozhi has been listening for a while. I don't understand what the system means, but he knows one thing, and that's this thing. It does have a great effect. Not to mention anything else, this thing called a system can retrieve the current situation of Pikachu. It's already a technology that can shock anyone's chin in the world. Even if Xiaozhi doesn't know much about technology, being able to see the level of elves, learned moves, characteristics, and intimacy, there is no such technology in this world. If everyone had this kind of thing to assist in becoming a trainer, the champion king wouldn't be so rare anymore. It's too far apart. In summary, this regret compensation system not only allows him to see the status of the elves he has subdued, but also, it is also possible to give him rewards when making up for regrets or through the regret dungeon. Rewards are abundant and diverse, with everything available. For example, this first instance task, returning to Quartz. At the age of 10, he debuted with great energy. In less than a year, he collected all 8 major badges and advanced to Quartz, unexpectedly encountering ambushes from thieves, depletion of elves, and the strongest general disobeying commands, ultimately regretfully losing. If there is still a choice, I will definitely get everything back. Task condition. I will return to the Quartz venue 5 years ago and cannot carry any elves. Relying on my personal charm, I will control the flame dragon to win the game against Ahong. Task reward. The dark damage suffered by the Spitfire dragon in the rain when it was young has been fully restored, its potential has been restored, and it is possible to gain the power of stepping on the divine dot. There are many descriptions of the task, but I won't talk about them for now. Actually, this description is quite appealing to Xiaozhi. Just looking makes his blood boil. However, what made his blood boil even more was the reward afterwards. The reward for the Spitfire dragon. In his childhood, little fire dragon was brought back to the elf center by him and Xiaogang Xiaoxia in the rain. After extreme rescue efforts, his life was finally saved. And then, although there wasn't much on the surface, but in fact, during the little fire dragon era, the injuries he left behind were indelible. Otherwise, even if it's due to hasty evolution, his physique is not even the size of a normal Spitfire dragon. Although the subsequent exercise in the Dragon Mountain Valley has greatly compensated for the potential of the body, he also climbed to the peak of the Spitfire Dragon Mountain Valley with his own efforts, but ultimately, the potential is limited. When in the Ahong area, the Spitfire dragon had already returned from the Spitfire Dragon Mountain Valley. Has he reached the pinnacle yet? How could it be? Becoming stronger has no end. His Spitfire dragon felt that he could no longer continue to improve. That's why I came back from the Spitfire Dragon Mountain Valley. And now, the opportunity to take the Spitfire dragon further is right in front of us. Xiaozhi must consider whether this is the only opportunity he has in his life. It is believed that the strange system that inexplicably appeared in his mind, or just ignore this system and continue on your own path. Xiaozhi believes that this is not a multiple-choice question. Moreover, returning to the Quartz conference of the past, he also really wants to see if the Spitfire dragon can follow his command, how far he can go. How to accept the task. By silently reciting "Enter Regret Dungeon" in the host's mind, they can directly enter the dungeon. Note: after entering the dungeon, the current world time will stop flowing after 5 seconds, and most of the events that occur in this dungeon will not be related to the real world. Big part. Xiaozhi, who has always been careless, discovered a blind spot in the system's speech. There's no way, this thing is too strange. It's not good if you're not careful, so even though Xiaozhi has always been careless, he was careful at this critical moment. There will be a small portion that will affect reality, but the impact is not significant. Please don't worry, host. Alright, enter the regretful dungeon. At the moment when this thought rose in Xiaozhi's heart, he felt his eyes darken and he instantly lost consciousness. Pikachu, who was watching Xiaozhi next to him, suddenly realized that Xiaozhi had fallen towards the bed. Scared, he quickly ran to Xiaozhi's side, Little Paw desperately patted Xiaozhi's face. A few seconds later, Xiaozhi opened his eyes, their expressions filled with a daze. He has returned from that dungeon, that's right, in this short 5 seconds. After Xiaozhi's eyes darkened, the next second that appeared in his gaze was an incredibly dazzling passage. The passage is spinning wildly like a storm, and at the center of the channel, he is like a tranquil sea needle. I will not be shaken by this channel storm at all. Driven by a mysterious force, his body flew towards the depths of the storm passage. I don't know how many seconds, minutes, or hours it will take. Xiaozhi's eyes darkened once again. When he regained consciousness, the surroundings were already filled with deafening cries. He instinctively looked around. On seats with clear social strata, the crowd surged and there were no empty seats. Even people standing on the steps are shouting loudly, "There's nothing wrong, this place is." The Quartz Arena, did he really come back? Chapter 3. Long time no see, Xiaoxia, Xiaogang, still. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The arena of the Quartz conference was bustling with voices. This is the venue of the round of 16 competition at the Quartz conference. They, the audience, forcefully wait from the afternoon until the evening. That contestant came over in a hot air balloon. This high-profile way of appearing undoubtedly adds to the already sluggish atmosphere. This game is destined to attract widespread attention. At this moment, Xiaozhi looked at the familiar blue gloves, blue jacket, and black bottom coat in his hand. The expression is a bit uncomfortable. I haven't seen this outfit in a long time, haven't I? I never thought there would be a day when I could put it back on. Xiaozhi instinctively looked around and finally froze on the coaching bench behind him. Xiaoxia. Xiaogang. His first travel companion was also his close friend. Speaking of which, it's been a while since we last saw each other. The last time I saw it was when I returned to Guandu in the Alola area. At this time, he still needs 2 coaches to assist. Thinking about it, Xiaozhi couldn't help but laugh out loud. No wonder the Spitfire dragon is unwilling to admit him. Even those who need help in league competitions, how could it be worthy of that guy? But now, let's say hello first. Xiaoxia, Xiaogang, long time no see. Xiaozhi waved at Xiaoxia and Xiaogang and shouted loudly. Xiaoxia and Xiaogang were both stunned by Xiaozhi's shout. Okay. Long time no see. How long has it been? Didn't we see each other in just half a day? Did Xiaozhi experience something during this period, which led him to live a peaceful life? Don't say that for now. Focus on the competition. Competition. Xiaoxia was the first to react and shouted at Xiaozhi. That pair of pure white and delicate soft barbarians were placed on the edge of their little mouths, and the sound they shouted could even be heard by the entire arena. He, still speaking loudly as usual, Xiaoxia. Xiaozhi smiled and turned his head to look at Ahong. At this moment, Hong is also a bit confused. As an opponent, he can clearly feel that the other party seems to have changed people in an instant. This is not an adjective, but a true replacement. The aura that emanates is a completely different feeling. If what Xiaozhi emitted before was a half-barrel water vapor field that was about the same as him, so now the aura emanating from Xiaozhi is like that of a master trainer. Ah Hong, long time no see. Ah Hong. Has it been a long time? It seems like less than a day, right? Anyway. Would you like to say hello first? Okay. Long time no see, can we start now? Ah. We're still fighting now, sorry for forgetting. Ah Hong. Xiaozhi, is it really okay for you to do this? Not knowing Ahong's thoughts, Xiaozhi looked at Pikachu beside him. As his mind moved, a light curtain appeared around Pikachu. Name. Pikachu, gender. Male, attribute. Electricity, skills held. 100,000 volts, thunder, lightning flash, high. Speed movement, wagging tail. Feature. Static electricity. There is a 30% chance of paralysis when using contact-type moves to attack Pokémon with this feature. Potential. Level. Normal, carrying items. None, intimacy. 255, full value of 255, Xiaozhi Pikachu's hidden characteristics. Strong when encountering strong, weak when encountering weak. Strong when encountering strong, weak when encountering weak. Faced with a strong opponent, give them a certain amount of time to slowly enhance to their level. Faced with a weak opponent, they will become like the opponent in a very short time. The probability of triggering the feature is 50%, remaining stamina. 50%, it seems that in this world, the power given by the system can still be used. Pikachu's panels are undoubtedly much more shabby than his real-life counterparts. Not only in terms of skills, but also in terms of levels, the two sides are vastly different. Although Xiaozhi doesn't know how the levels are specifically divided, but ordinary and champion which one looks more B-shaped, don't you need to say more. But Pikachu's potential is still a question mark. I don't know if this question mark is something his data I can't tell, or is Pikachu's potential. Unpredictable. In addition, there is also a stamina panel at the bottom. Currently, Pikachu's stamina is only 50% remaining. If Xiaozhi remembers correctly, it seems that it was the stamina expended during the previous confrontation with the rockets. If Pikachu is in full form, even if this battle doesn't require the Spitfire dragon, it may not necessarily be lost to the other party, a pickup truck. Seeing Xiaozhi staring at him in a daze, Pikachu couldn't help but tilt his head and ask Xiaozhi a question. Is Xiaozhi going to make himself the starting lineup? Ah, it's okay Pikachu, please rest well. I have already decided who to use in this battle. After Xiaozhi's words fell, the referee was also in place, as he waved his flag and shouted. The game is starting. Both sides simultaneously threw their own Pokéball. Bobby, it's your turn to play. It's up to you, Spitfire Dragon. Click. Both sides of the Pokémon ball open. What Ahong has sent here is a butterfly with red compound eyes. The butterfly. On Xiaozhi's side, there is a fierce and imposing orange-red giant dragon. The Spitfire Dragon. At least compared to the Chiba butterfly, it is indeed powerful and domineering. Spray. Spitfire Dragon. Xiaozhi, you're crazy. Xiaoxia saw that Xiaozhi was the first to use the Spitfire Dragon, and she couldn't sit still in an instant. She suddenly stood up holding Poppy, her fair and pretty face filled with panic. Does Xiaozhi have any strategy? The Spitfire Dragon didn't listen to him recently. Xiaogang rubbed his chin, his eyes squinting with a reflection of contemplation. For the situation on the field, the Spitfire Dragon can perfectly suppress the butterfly, both in terms of level and attributes, but the premise is the Spitfire Dragon needs to listen to Xiaozhi's words. Until the last time the Spitfire Dragon was released, he doesn't listen to Xiaozhi yet. Is Xiaozhi coming so late to train the Spitfire Dragon and make it obedient? Now I can only think this way, otherwise, Xiaozhi will take out the disobedient Spitfire Dragon to fight, but one step is so smelly that it can't be smelly anymore. We can see that athlete Ahong's starting lineup is Dottie, while athlete Xiaozhi's starting lineup is Spitfire Dragon. Xiaozhi's Spitfire Dragon undoubtedly has an absolute advantage in terms of attributes. But we haven't seen any clever players use this elf in previous competitions. Can we say that this is the trump card hidden by the Little Wisdom contestants to cope with the round of 16? Xiaozhi. There's no trump card, it's just that it can't be used, but now, it's not necessarily the case. Chapter 4. Spread your wings and soar. Spitfire Dragon. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Name. Spitfire Dragon, Gender. Male, Attribute. Fire, Flying, Possessing Skills. Spray Flames, Flame Vortex, Wing Attack, Split, Wind, Earth Throw, Split. Feature. Fierce Fire. When the stamina is less than 1/3, the power of fire attribute moves increases by 1.5 times. Potential. Daoguan, Champion, Level. Elite, Carrying Items. None, Intimacy. 180, Full value of 255, Xiaozhi, Flamethrower Hidden Feature. Unyielding Will. Unyielding Will. With a firm will, one can surpass their own potential and reach a higher level. Defects. Being exposed to rain in childhood, not receiving timely treatment, anxious to evolve, potential not fully developed, ultimately leading to potential regression from champion to dojo. Solution. You can use the Holy Fire of the Phoenix King to repair it, or you can use the Phoenix King's exclusive item. Rainbow Feather. Potential classification. Beginner, Beginner, Normal, Elite, Taoist, Heavenly King, Champion, Second Level God, Second Level God, Divine, First Level God, First Level God, Divine, and Creator God. The Second Level God is theoretically on par with the Champion, but the upper limit of the Second Level God level is higher than that of the Champion. The above is all the information about the Spitfire Dragon. Underneath the panel of the Spitfire Dragon, Xiaozhi also learned about the division of potential. This potential division should be similar to the strength division. Under the Champion is the Heavenly King, and under the Heavenly King is the Taoist Hall. Xiaozhi didn't expect that the potential of the Spitfire Dragon would be so greatly affected due to its hidden injuries. Because of the rain I had in my childhood and the urgency to evolve, in the end, the potential of the Spitfire Dragon was completely reduced by 2 large segments. What is the concept of going from champion to dojo? Just take a look at the difference between the real-world dojo trainers and champion trainers. It is known that a Heavenly King is suppressing 8 or more Taoist masters, and 1 champion weighs down 4 Heavenly Kings. Except for a few Taoist masters, most of them should have the strength of the Taoist masters. That is to say, his Spitfire Dragon fell from the ceiling of the world to the level of the middle layer. And the reason why the Spitfire Dragon became so powerful in the Spitfire Dragon Mountain Valley behind it, it is closely related to his hidden characteristics. In its incomplete state, the Spitfire Dragon relies on its hidden features, even able to defeat the frozen bird. You can also use 2 moves against the controlled Lie Xylem. What happens in a group, op limit. JPG, you can see how strong the will of the Spitfire Dragon is. Unfortunately, no matter how strong the will is, it cannot withstand the intense depletion of potential in the latter half of his journey together. The Spitfire Dragon found it difficult to penetrate the Spitfire Dragon Mountain Valley and finally returned to his side. Even so, he is still one of the top flamethrowers in the world. Thinking of this, Xiaozhi's gaze towards the Spitfire Dragon was soft and firm. He will become the world's first fiery dragon. This is the guarantee of the world's #1 Pokémon master in the future. Roar. The newly emerged Spitfire Dragon roared upwards, its blazing flames breaking through the sky, but when he saw that his opponent was actually a tiny butterfly, the fighting spirit was completely lost in an instant. Roar. The Spitfire Dragon, exhaling through its nostrils, lay directly on its side on the ground, with its eyes resembling a false sleep. Standing tall with a tattered appearance. As expected. Xiaoxia sat helplessly on the stool, her pure white hands covering her eyes, unable to bear to look straight. At first, she even had a slight fantasy about Xiaozhi. How ridiculous that fantasy seems now. Xiaogang's face was also a bit unattractive. The Spitfire Dragon loses its fighting spirit, which is equivalent to directly giving away an elf quota, for Xiaozhi, who is already on par with Ahong's strength, absolutely a fatal problem. Xiaozhi. What are you really thinking? On the field, Ahong showed a surprised expression when he saw the Spitfire Dragon lying flat. Is he going to win without a fight? Spitfire Dragon, it's time to take it seriously. The soft call awakened the flame-spitting dragon from its slumber. Even though it was still that voice, even though it was still that gentle tone, but in the midst of the sound, there was no trace of pleading. At the same time, there is no trace of weakness. The Spitfire dragon stood up and turned to look. That's right, it's still my own trainer, the familiar clothes, the familiar appearance, but the expression is different. Under the playful and smiling expression, there is even unpredictable confidence and determination towards oneself. What's the situation? He changed his trainer. It's not right. It hasn't changed. In summary, it's like a bronze player suddenly switching to a professional player. The current Xiaozhi is completely different from before. Jean stood up. Can you say? Pickup truck. Xiaoxia, Xiaogang, and Pikachu let out a stunning sigh at the same time. The Spitfire dragon actually listened to Xiaozhi's words. And he also looked at Xiaozhi with a straight eye. Previously, this was completely impossible. You know, Xiaozhi's Spitfire dragon is very proud, he often faces his trainer with his nostrils, or else he sprays flames. But now with a gentle word, Xiaozhi managed to lift him out of his tattered state. What happened? Go up, Spitfire dragon, no matter who your opponent is, give it your all. If your goal is the strongest, don't stop doing something just because you're not interested, otherwise you won't be able to step onto the throne of the strongest. Right here, let's show everyone your strength. Including the Orange Islands, Xiaozhi, who has experience in 8 major regions, is also known as a master-level trainer. Simple truths like this are naturally easy to come by. No matter what the reason is, the main thing is to stimulate first-hand fighting spirit. At the current level of the Xiaozhi trainer, give the Spitfire dragon a simple reason to fight, so, roar. The Spitfire dragon stared at Xiaozhi with lifeless eyes, then roared upwards and spewed flames, then he stepped on his feet and made a shocking sound, turning his body towards the Ba De Dai on the arena. Spitfire dragon. It's on fire. Let's go up and spray the fire dragon. Chapter 5. Is this the battle of the top 16? Really? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay. We see that Xiaozhi's Spitfire dragon has once again ignited his fighting spirit. Although I don't know what kind of psychological counseling Xiaozhi has provided, there is no doubt that Ahong is about to face the biggest challenge for him now. Fighting against the flying fire-type Spitfire dragon with the insect-type Ba De butterfly is an extremely difficult counter-attribute duel. Let's see what kind of response Ahong contestant will make. As a lively host, a simple action can be spoken by him. The atmosphere on site was fully mobilized, the audience present cheered and shouted at the 2 people on the field. Faced with the blazing flames of the Spitfire dragon, Ahong couldn't help but shed a few drops of cold sweat on his forehead. Bobby, be careful, use sleep powder first. Blow the powder away with a gust of wind. To be honest, even if it's becoming a champion, Xiaozhi doesn't have a complete understanding of the features. He is unaware of the fact that Ba De Dai has compound eye characteristics, but this does not prevent him from having experienced hundreds or even thousands of battles. He can easily think of more than 10 ways to deal with hypnotic powder. This is experience crushing. Roar. The Spitfire dragon stirs up its huge wings behind it, unleashing a raging hurricane. In the blink of an eye, I blew away all the hypnotic powder released by Ba De Dai. Spray flames. Without any pause, Xiaozhi continued to give orders. The wind just now not only blew away the sleeping powder of Ba De Dai, it also made the butterfly in the air begin to fly erratically. The strong wind makes it difficult for the Ba De butterfly, which is relatively lightweight and has large and weak wings, to control its balance well. At such times, it's natural to take advantage of his illness and take his life. The blazing flames rushed towards Ba De Dai. There is no reaction gap at all. Ba De Dai was devoured by the raging fire. A few seconds later, the butterfly in the sky was already spitting black smoke and slowly falling down. Bobby. Ahong's worried voice did not awaken Ba De Dai. The Ba De Dai, who fell vertically, turned her eyes in circles and lost her breath completely. Xiaozhi contestant, go to the next city first. Unexpectedly, Ahong's Ba De Dai was instantly killed by the Spitfire dragon. Is this the suppression of levels and attributes? Level and attributes. Perhaps there are some reasons behind it, but Xiaozhi's beautiful reaction just now was the key to a quick and decisive battle. Xiaogang's squinted eyes flashed with a wise light. Of course, this light may only be visible to him himself. Faced with the hypnotic powder, Xiaozhi quickly thought of using the rising wind to counterattack, which affected the flying posture of the butterfly. Therefore, spraying flames can quickly and accurately hit the opponent, achieving a one-hit kill. Is it so mysterious? Xiaoxia was taken aback by the sound. Is this an operation that the foolish young man Xiaozhi can perform? Doesn't he rely solely on recklessness throughout his life, and his defense relies entirely on quickly avoiding? Can that little intelligence also make such meticulous operations? How could this be possible? Well, all of the above are my speculations, but didn't you feel it, Xiaoxia? Xiaozhi seems a bit different. Xiaoxia carefully looked at Xiaozhi's back, and a strange feeling rose in her heart. Is it an illusion? Why does it always feel like Xiaozhi has become more reliable? And this kind of momentum seems to be only seen in super advanced trainers. Hi, it's impossible. Xiaozhi was so foolish last night. How could it have turned out like this all night? Xiaoxia shook her head and rejected her own conjecture. Xiaozhi suddenly became a master trainer or something overnight. No, in the afternoon, that kind of thing will only happen in dreams, right? But why was Xiaozhi suddenly able to command the Spitfire dragon, even with such exquisite operations? Xiaoxia couldn't figure it out on the field. Ahong silently retrieved Ba Dadi. Thank you for your hard work, Bobby. Let's leave it to your partner. If your opponent is a Spitfire dragon, I believe you. Go ahead, General Ben. Ahong took out another Pokémon ball and threw it vigorously. Hey! An orange little dinosaur appeared on the field, butter-colored belly, blue and black gemstone eyes, the little fire dragon, one of the three families of Guanduyu. Its ultimate evolutionary form is the Spitfire dragon opposite him. Seeing Ahong dispatch the little fire dragon as he did back then, Xiaozhi couldn't help but show a surprised expression. This facing him who can command the Spitfire dragon, will he still send out the little fire dragon? Is Ahong so brave? Oh, I seem so brave too. It's okay then. Take out your courage and use jet flames. Spitfire dragon, cover it with a vortex of flames. Boom. Two blazing flames collided and burst into a stunning flame. The brilliant fireworks turned the faces of the audience around the arena red. Two flames collided, but in just a few seconds, the flames of the Spitfire dragon completely suppressed the flames of Ben, until you devour the other person. Take this. Ahong's worried voice sounded. He didn't expect that the gap between the two sides would be so big. It's over, Spitfire dragon, you split. Roar. The Spitfire dragon swung its wings and charged out like an arrow departing from a string. In an instant, he arrived at Jiang, who was trapped by the vortex of flames, the sharp claws emitting white light slide down from top to bottom. Shit. The sound of flesh and blood tearing came. He flew backwards out of the flames and fell heavily in front of Ahong. My eyes turned to the mosquito coil. Oh much. Ahong's second Pokémon has also lost its combat ability. The battle is almost a one-sided situation. I never expected such a crushing match to occur in the round of 16. Did Xiaozhi contestants hide their foolishness in previous competitions? The voices of supporters are timely heard. The shout contained a sense of amazement. This is the top 16 of the Quartz conference. The strength gap between the two sides has reached such a great extent. It's simply unbelievable. Ahong's two Pokémon were almost knocked down like a flash sale. Now Xiaozhi's Spitfire dragon's stamina is almost full. For Ahong, he has already been pushed to a dead end. Xiaozhi scratched his head. Is this the round of 16 showdown? It's really funny. Let him play this kind of game 5 years later, it's really a dimensionality reduction blow. Chapter 6. Task Completion, Defeating Ahong, System. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After being defeated by 2 consecutive elves, Ahong also suffered a considerable blow. The opponent's Spitfire Dragon is terrifying, with 2 consecutive Pokémon not causing any damage. But ultimately, the gap between the trainers on both sides seems to be quite large after Xiaozhi returned. It felt like he had changed a person. He is completely different from the little wisdom he knew before. Except for the Spitfire Dragon suppressing his 2 elves in level, Xiaozhi's command completely suppressed him. Control of the war situation or something he can't compare to Xiaozhi at all. Even so, he will continue to fight. Run, in the end, it's up to you. Pick up. Ahong's third and last elf is his ace. Pikachu. Those who treat Pikachu as their ace elf can probably count a single slap in the entire world. However, now there are 2 directly appearing in the Quartz round of 16 competition, still the opponent. Ren popped out of the Pokeball. Unlike a typical Pikachu, Ahong's Ren has a few curled hairs on his head. It looks like a cool guy. Facing the Spitfire Dragon, Ryan is full of confidence. And Spitfire Dragon saw that his final opponent was already a little bit small, directly disdainfully sprayed smoke from the nostrils. Does the opponent in this game not have a stronger Pokémon? Why are they all small dots? Spitfire Dragon, don't be careless. Don't forget what I told you. No matter what opponent we face, we must give it our all. Upon hearing this, the Spitfire Dragon hesitated for a moment, but ultimately put on a serious combat posture. If it's a former trainer, he certainly wouldn't listen to such orders, but from now on, Xiaozhi can feel that incredibly powerful aura. That's a completely different aura from before, Ling Tu Qing Xiaozhi. Although it's unclear why his trainer has changed so much in a short period of time, but it doesn't prevent the Spitfire Dragon from knowing the current trainer is qualified to command him. How impressive, Xiaozhi. Even in this situation, don't you relax. I was originally thinking that Xiaozhi might be careless and underestimate the enemy when he had an advantage, but I didn't expect that the Spitfire Dragon was careless. Xiaozhi has no intention of belittling the enemy at all. Now we can only grit our heads. Ryan, a flash of lightning. As Ahong's words fell, Ren on the stage transformed into a golden light and burst out. Next. Ryan's speed is not slow, forcing him to dodge can actually cause loopholes, so the best choice is to directly resist. Bang! The golden light directly hit the huge belly of the Spitfire Dragon. The butter-colored belly of the Spitfire Dragon is slightly sunken, but he didn't take a step back. The lightning flash is fast, but its power is insufficient. Great, just use the split to hit the opponent to the ground. Roar. The Spitfire Dragon let out a roar, and its silver-white claws fiercely slashed down. Ryan, who was buffered by his stomach, had no chance to escape, split open the center red heart. Pick up. Ryan's screams came, falling heavily on the ground. Even slight cracks appeared on the heavy field. It can be imagined how powerful the Spitfire Dragon strike was. It's over, jet flames. Ryan, who fell to the ground, had no resistance, let alone the power to dodge. Ahong could only watch helplessly as Ren was engulfed by the jet of flames. After the flames dissipated, the scorched electric mouse lay weakly on the ground, lost combat capability. Oh my goodness. Ahong's third elf, Pikachu, was easily defeated by the Spitfire Dragon. The Little Wisdom contestant completed a series of 3 feats, and the Spitfire Dragon was almost unharmed. Only Ahong's Pikachu hit the Spitfire Dragon once throughout the journey. This is a completely crushing battle. It's unbelievable that such a match would appear in the round of 16 of the Quartz Conference. I should be the one who can't believe it, Xiaozhi murmured in his heart. Why didn't you notice it before? Compared to other conferences, the intensity of Quartz Conference is like the difference between children and adults. Don't compare it to other regional conferences, even the city has a silver conference. In terms of intensity, we have all surpassed this 8 streets. Speaking of which, how could Xiaomao fall to the top 32? Did he see a ghost? But when he fell in the round of 16, he actually saw ghosts. Seeing those 3 ghosts from the rockets. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been forced to choose to use the Spitfire dragon to gamble his luck. But now commanding the Spitfire dragon to defeat Ahong, he always feels like a shackle has been broken in his heart. Back in the round of 16, it wasn't because of technology, but because elves didn't listen and lost. He has always been a thorn in his heart. It's just that Xiaozhi hasn't noticed it yet, and now no matter what form it takes, he eventually pulled out this thorn. It turns out that having a broad mind is such a delightful thing. Ah. Xiaozhi has won. The deafening sound of coquettish cheers came. When Xiaozhi turned around, he found that a touch of snow-white had already covered his eyes. Don't misunderstand, this is Xiaoxia's collarbone, to be honest. I feel a bit anxious. Xiaozhi, who was being held by Xiaoxia, was about to say something. As a result, I found that my consciousness seemed to gradually blur. In the end, I completely lost consciousness. After he regained consciousness, what caught his eye was a worried Pikachu. Is he back? Task completed. The hidden damage of the host Spitfire dragon has been repaired. The first copy is completed and the system is fully booted. Tip 1. The host can now use the data eye to see more data. PS, only for their own sprites. Tip 2. Please register for the World Championships as soon as possible to meet the conditions for opening dungeons. Tip 3. In addition to making up for regrets and dungeon tasks, there are also daily tasks. Please actively complete daily tasks, which is an indispensable part of becoming a Pokémon Master for the host. Chapter 7. Champion Level Spitfire Dragon. Having the God of Footsteps. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A series of system prompts made Xiaozhi's consciousness, which had just recovered, buzzing. It took him a while before he realized it. While soothing Pikachu, he began to search for system records in his mind. Whether or not to say, this system is still quite intelligent. As long as you recall in your mind, the entry prompted by the previous system will appear. Is the Eye of Data the same thing I saw Pikachu and his team come out of the light curtain before? So that thing is called the Eye of Data. And what's going on with this new task? Wait a moment, no matter what, I need to go see if the Spitfire dragon has really recovered. Pikapi. At this moment, Pikachu on the side looked at Xiaozhi with an extremely frightened look in his eyes. Xiaozhi's brain is really bad. Or is it that Xiaozhi has fallen for evil? What is this talking about from the gods? Immediately afterwards, he saw Xiaozhi changing into clothes at the speed of light. Then he threw him onto his shoulder and rushed towards the Daiki Research Institute. Mom, I'll leave first. I've already had breakfast. Xiaozhi, who was rushing towards the Daiki Research Institute, didn't forget to take a few slices of bread from the dining table, say hello to your mother and leave. And Pikachu, he has fainted now. After arriving at the Daimu Research Institute, Pikachu finally realized, oh. So I've already gone out. No. Why did Xiaozhi come to Daimu Research Institute? Isn't it a few days later to go to the research institute called Dr. Sakuragi? Sees. Dr. Daimu. It's me, Xiaozhi. Here we go. Xiaozhi, why are you coming so early? The one who opened the door to the research institute was Dr. Oki, who was over 50 years old but still not very old. He looked at Xiaozhi with a surprised expression on his face. It seems that I have misread someone. It's not surprising that Xiaozhi sleeps until noon when there's nothing else to do. Why did you come to him early this morning before 9 o'clock? I have something to talk to Spitfire Dragon about. Please take me to Spitfire Dragon's place, Doctor. Seeing Xiaozhi's anxious expression, Dr. Oki thought something big had happened. quickly taking Xiaozhi to his backyard. In no time, we arrived at the location of the Spitfire dragon. At this moment, the Spitfire dragon is actually fighting against the flame monkey. Early in the morning, the two major fire series elves were also fighting fiercely. But now the flame monkey is being unilaterally suppressed by the flame dragon. And it's using fire skills to suppress it. The first battle between the two major fire series is naturally their firepower. And the firepower confrontation between the two sides, as soon as Dr. Daiki and Xiaozhi arrived, they could both see that the flame monkey had lost too much to the flame dragon. It's strange. Dr. Daiki rubbed his chin thoughtfully, with a puzzled expression on his face. What's wrong, Dr. Daiki? Is there something wrong with the flame dragon and flame monkey? Why did they start fighting? Xiaozhi actually doesn't often come to the backyard of Daimyo Research Institute. After returning from Alola, he occasionally came, but at that time, everyone gathered together happily and harmoniously, and no hostile situation occurred. And then he spent most of his time going on adventures around him, so it's not clear what happened between the flame monkey and the Spitfire dragon. It is common for the flame monkey and the Spitfire dragon to engage in a duel like this. Xiaozhi, your flame monkey is very aggressive, and he has caused trouble to most of the fire elves in the backyard. However, because most of them are sparring competitions, those fire elves are also willing to fight against the flame monkey. But I remember the difference between the flame monkey and the Spitfire dragon shouldn't be that big. The Spitfire dragon is indeed a bit stronger than the flame monkey, but it's the first time I've seen it crushed to this extent. As a veteran general of Xiaozhi, Spitfire Dragon, one of the initial 6 partners, and I have also trained in Spitfire Dragon Mountain Valley. It can be said that the strength is absolutely beyond doubt. But the flame monkey is not a fuel-efficient lamp either. His greatest strength is when his physical strength is on the verge of exhaustion, an unparalleled ultimate flame will suddenly erupt. It's just super hot. Without the command and restraint of a trainer, the flame monkey cannot control the super fierce fire very well. So in the battle between the two, the Spitfire dragon basically wins more and loses less, but you have to say that the gap has reached this level that's simply impossible. What's the situation? Did the Spitfire dragon take medication today? Name: Spitfire dragon, gender: male, attribute: fire, flying, possessing skills. Spray flames, burn them all out, explode with flames, great word fire, dragon claw, cast from earth. Feature: fierce fire. When the stamina is less than 1/3, the power of fire attribute moves increases by 1.5 times. Potential: champion peak, subdivided into beginner, intermediate, advanced, peak, level. Champion intermediate, carrying items. None, intimacy. 255, full value of 255, Xiaozhi, flamethrower, hidden feature. Unyielding will. Unyielding will. With a firm will, one can surpass their own potential and reach a higher level. Overall review. Fixed flaws in shadow damage and evolution, fully unleashing the potential of the Spitfire dragon. In addition to stepping into the champion intermediate level, he also gained the possibility to advance into the divine realm. Note: the realm of gods is at or above the level of second-level gods, clergy. Gods. Destroy the sky and earth, move mountains and fill the sea, do anything. Only for the top-level gods, stamina value. 57%, stamina is not absolute, even if it is 0, elves can still stand up, and even if there is still remaining stamina, elves may still faint. The complete information of the Spitfire dragon appeared in Xiaozhi's eyes, that is a light curtain that only he can see. Compared to before, the information of the light screen is indeed much more complete. Apart from what intermediate and peak levels are classified, there are also overall reviews and explanations for stamina values. But what surprised Xiaozhi the most was the luxurious template of the Spitfire dragon. His original potential turned out to be the most top-notch presence among champions. The pinnacle of champions. How much damage did the flame dragon itself suffer? Only then will his potential drop directly to the level of a Taoist temple. Fortunately, the Spitfire dragon has fully recovered now. Not only that, but also due to the restoration of its talent, the Spitfire dragon's minor level has been raised by 1 level. At the same time, the skills he has learned are like 2 dragons from the Quartz conference back then. However, this is also natural. After all, they have been training in the Spitfire Dragon Mountain Valley for over 3 years now. The Spitfire dragon, which has fully recovered its potential, can even advance towards the realm of gods. God. Destroy the sky and earth, move mountains and fill the sea, do anything. This description is indeed desirable. Thank you for Li Tong's reminder ticket. Thank you for the monthly pass from Xiaobai. Thank you for William Chung's 1000-point reward. Thank you very much for your support regarding updates. This book is updated 5 times a day, with about 10,000 words or more. If you have any extra flower review tickets or monthly tickets, you can give them to the author as a reward. Chapter 8. Preparing to bring the Spitfire Dragon to participate in the World Championships. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Roar. The brilliant flames devoured the flame monkey in the roar of the flame dragon. After eating both oneself and the other's jet flames, the flame monkey was also adorned with many colors, and under the observation of Xiaozhi, the flame monkey's stamina is only about 25% left. Originally, there was still over 50 stamina left, just 1 move removed more than a quarter. You can see the strength of the Spitfire dragon now. It is worth mentioning that the current level of the flame monkey is the Heavenly King peak, although it has not yet reached the level of championship, but it's also very strong. When in the Shanao region, the flame monkey was probably far from reaching this level, but it has been over 2 years now, according to Dr. Daiki. Before the Spitfire dragon returned, the flame monkey often engaged in sparring with other elves. After the Spitfire dragon returned, he began to focus on practicing against it. There is a champion-level companion training at, it's normal to reach the peak of the Heavenly King. It is worth mentioning that the talent of Flame Monkey is also at the championship level, but only championship level. His strongest feature is still his super fiery nature. A 100% increase in fire power. I really want to show you even if a god comes. Okay. It's almost done. Spitfire Dragon, Flame Monkey. After the Flame Monkey ate the flames of the Spitfire Dragon, Xiaozhi quickly stepped forward and called for a stop. If we continue to fight, Flame Monkey will probably have to go to the Elf Center to recover. Now, one can still rely on their own resilience to slowly recover. Of course, the wound medicine still needs to be sprayed. After hearing Xiaozhi's voice, the 2 elves who were originally planning to continue the battle stopped one after another. Almost simultaneously, he turned his head to look in the direction of Xiaozhi. In less than a second, they ran towards Xiaozhi with excitement on their faces. The Spitfire Dragon spreads its wings and excitedly spits out flames. Directly sprayed Xiaozhi's face into black charcoal. Dr. Daimu on the side quickly dodged for a few meters. This jet of flames is not something that ordinary people can do next. Even if the Spitfire Dragon is just jokingly spraying fire, it's a champion-level jet flame. Only non-human physique like Xiaozhi can be used as a spark to play with. Ha, you're still so energetic, Spitfire Dragon. And Flame Monkey, you too. Pick up Cupid. Pikachu on Xiaozhi's shoulder also greeted the Spitfire Dragon and the Flame Monkey. After a brief exchange of greetings between the 2 elves and Xiaozhi, Xiaozhi also inquired about the current situation of the Spitfire Dragon. The Spitfire Dragon gave a big thumbs up to this. Strangely enough, when fighting against the Flame Monkey today, the constantly overdrawn state of the body suddenly disappeared. The bottleneck stuck in my body suddenly broke. Even the Fire Dragon itself doesn't know what's going on, he only knows he seems to be able to continue climbing to higher peaks. The Flame Monkey on the side awkwardly scratched its head, Xiaozhi saw his embarrassed side as soon as he arrived. Even though he can still fight with the flame dragon back and forth on a regular basis, why did the trainer come today? And he was crushed. Monkeys are puzzled by their thoughts. It's okay, Flame Monkey, you're already very strong. And the Spitfire dragon. As long as you can recover. Roar. Excitedly holding Xiaozhi, the Spitfire dragon showed a puzzled expression. Restore. What recovery? Suddenly, the eyes of the Spitfire dragon suddenly widened. What happened today, and the feeling of my body suddenly releasing its shackles, is this what Xiaozhi called recovery? What happened to him was done by Xiaozhi. By the way, Xiaozhi, didn't you say you had something to do with finding the Spitfire dragon? There's nothing else going on now, it's mainly up to the Fire Spitfire dragon to see if it's doing well. Can I still treat him unfairly? Dr. Daiki rolled his eyes and expressed his distrust towards Xiaozhi's behavior. He expresses strong condemnation. Just kidding, I've been taking care of your Pokémon for over 5 years. When did you ever mistreat your Pokémon? No, just to see if the Spitfire dragon has made more progress than before. Because I want to take the Spitfire dragon to participate in a competition. Competition. Dr. Daiki thought for a moment, then showed a sudden expression. You should be referring to the World Championships, right? Speaking of which, this edition of the World Championships is almost over. After a while, it will be the quarterfinals of the 8 Masters. Moreover, the Flame Dragon seems to be stronger than before. If you take your friends to participate in the competition, you should achieve quite good results. Maybe you can become one of the 8 Masters. Xiaozhi is now the champion of the Alola region. If there is any competition that champions want to participate in, if you still bring the champion Spitfire dragon to participate, Dr. Daiki pondered that there are only world-class competitions like the World Championships. That's a competition that swept the whole world. Rankings spread all over the world, not to mention, even among the contestants, there are kings and champions from various regions. 8 Masters. What is that? Xiaozhi's face showed a puzzled expression. He still learned about the World Championships from the system. Why does Dr. Daiki look very familiar? Is that competition very famous? You're going to participate in the World Championships, but you don't even know about the 8 Masters. Dr. Daiki's expression was, are you okay? To be honest, you may not even know about the World Championships, but you can't even be unaware of Master Ba, can you? Nowadays, the 8 great teachers are even hotter topics than champions. That. I really don't know what the 8 Masters are. I also saw it by chance on the poster about that competition. Xiaozhi, who has never been good at lying, casually weaved a lie. He feels you cannot casually tell others about things that you own a system for. Mainly, the system task interface has a red highlighted text. It is strictly prohibited to tell others that the system exists, otherwise the host will never have a peaceful day. Such a serious warning. Even if Xiaozhi wants to tell others, he has dispelled that idea, not to mention that he himself has no intention of telling others. Oh, you really want to participate in the competition without knowing anything? The so-called 8 Masters are. Chapter 9. Daily Task. Memorize all elf specialties. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 8 Masters, the world's top 8 trainers. This is not a universally recognized reputation, but a name that has been gradually developed. The World Championship is a competition where the world's 8 strongest trainers are selected. These 8 trainers are known as the 8 Masters. As it is a world-class competition, therefore, there is no fixed assessment, let alone any Taoist temples or similar activities. This is a worldwide melee match. Trainers from all over the world can get a ranking by registering. Fight against trainers who rank higher or are not far from their own rankings, then you can improve your ranking. The competition cycle is 1 year. In the last month of the year, the top 8 trainers will be designated as the 8 Master Trainers. Meanwhile, in this last month, 8 Master Trainers will compete in groups, finally decide who is the world's #1 trainer. The trainer currently ranked first among the 8 masters is the champion of the Chaldean region, Dandi. He is known as an unbeaten trainer. I have never lost since my debut. Even the champions from other regions have never been able to defeat him even once when challenging the Dandi Emperor. The other rankings of the 8 masters will constantly change, but only the top-ranked Dandi never changes. Mr. Dandi. Xiaozhi murmured the name of the Dandi, and his brown eyes seemed to sparkle with excitement. He has never been a conservative trainer. When he found out that there were stronger trainers, his first thought was to challenge them. Instead of feeling cowardly that the other party cannot overcome. The more famous the name of the Dandi is, the more he actually wants to fight against the opponent. Speaking of which, the quarterfinals of the 8 masters will be held in half a month. If you want to go, Xiaozhi, I can get you a ticket to come back. Really? That's really great. Thank you, Dr. Oki. Xiaozhi was overjoyed and thanked Dr. Kaedemo. If you really feel drowsy, give a pillow as a gift. Although heavyweight competitions like the 8 masters can certainly be seen on television, but what is the atmosphere and feeling of watching live that TV can match? Dr. Daimu can even get tickets for the 8 masters. You truly deserve to be Dr. Daimu. Oh, by the way, Dr. Daimu, can I study with you recently? Dr. Daiki. Dr. Daiki's pitch-black eyes widened wide and round, due to excessive shock. He even had several raised headlines on his forehead. What did he hear? Xiaozhi, learning. Can these 2 words be related? Although Xiaozhi is now a champion trainer, but Xiaozhi's enthusiasm for learning can be said to be almost zero. Compared to studying step by step indoors, he prefers to learn what he wants through practical experience. But now, what did he hear? Xiaozhi is coming to his research institute to study. The sun is coming out in the west. What? What? Dr. Daimu, what kind of eyes are you looking at? I'm studying very. Is it strange? Finally, Xiaozhi's voice also lacked some confidence. Actually, it's not what he wants to learn. Rather than studying, he wants to take risks and see more with his eyes and body. But the reward given by the system is simply irresistible. Daily task. Mastery all elf features and hidden features in mind. Task reward. Method of making energy blocks for all mighty elves. Method for making all around elf energy blocks. This is an energy block suitable for all elves in the world to consume. With just 1 block, you can become friends with the fierce wild hornet. At the same time, long-term consumption by elves will subtly increase their potential and strength. Task assistance. Encyclopedia of Elf Characteristics. This is currently the only daily task that the system has been flashing. That's also why Xiaozhi chose to study at a research institute. Whenever there is another choice, he doesn't want to study here either. The method of making the all-around elf energy block, even if Xiaozhi is not a breeder, you can also understand its importance. If any breeder knows about this kind of thing, I estimate it can make them completely crazy. Even if it means losing everything. For Xiaozhi, this thing not only allows him to make friends with wild elves, better able to make their elves eat and drink well, enhance their potential and strength. By the way, it reduces Dr. Daiki's burden, so this task is naturally unavoidable. As for why you came to the Daimu Research Institute, I've memorized everything, so I have to understand the meaning of those characteristics, right? Otherwise, it's not for nothing. So Dr. Daiki is a great interviewee and mentor. Big Wooden Tool Man JPG. In addition to daily tasks, there is also a task called the mainline task. Main task. Register for the World Championships. Task reward. Sonic Fist, Second Regret Dungeon activated. This task is very simple, and the rewards are also very simple. Just sign up, and the reward is Sonic Fist. I just don't know who this Sonic Fist was taught to. As for the reward that follows, it is even more easy to understand. Is it the second instance? In summary, There is still some time before the start of the World Championships. Xiaozhi can only choose to do daily tasks first and temporarily put the main task aside. Even if the main task is not completed, the dungeon cannot enter. Can you do it, Xiaozhi? Hey! Don't underestimate me, Dr. Daiki. I'll teach you anything related to elves. Xiaozhi, who had set aside his lofty ambitions, started learning at the Daiki Research Institute in the afternoon. This surprised the flower at home. Is this the sun coming out from the west? How could his son go to learn about elves? Even Pikachu, who was following Xiaozhi, was puzzled. If it weren't for the feeling Xiaozhi gave him or Xiaozhi's feeling, he suspected that Xiaozhi might have been taken away by someone like before at the Battle Pyramid. Afternoon, Xiaozhi, who was studying at Dr. Oki's Research Institute, was shocked and shouted by Dr. Oki. If you want to ask why, Xiaozhi, where does your encyclopedia of elf characteristics come from? I picked it up on the street. Dr. Daiki. Blow. Keep blowing. Why can you find this thing on the street? Chapter 10. Application of features. Xiaozhi has opened up the hole. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Encyclopedia of Elf Characteristics, which not only includes the characteristics of ordinary elves, even the characteristics of divine beasts. Including some rare features hidden by elves, they are clearly marked inside. Not only that, each feature inside has a detailed explanation. Dr. Daiki even compared some elves that have not yet discovered specific characteristics for this purpose. I found that what was said in the book was completely correct. For the academic community, this book is simply a divine book. Even ordinary elves are fine. There are even records of the characteristics of divine beasts on it. Although the characteristics of divine beasts cannot be confirmed, but it's better to believe in its existence than to believe in its absence. For Dr. Oki, who possesses an extremely powerful and prosperous heart as a mysterious divine beast, this book is enough to keep him up for 3 days and 3 nights. Therefore, regarding Xiaozhi's claim of picking it up from the street, Dr. Daiki naturally has 10,000 unbelievers. But since Xiaozhi doesn't say it, there is naturally his reason. Dr. Daiki is just asking. What is the turn of the past? JPG. The most important thing is that the book is here, no matter where it comes from. One afternoon, even at night, Dr. Daiki was reading the book next to Xiaozhi. Forget sleep and food. I didn't even soak the instant noodles. Xiaozhi on the side directly revealed Huang Dou's sweaty face. He came here to study, while endorsing, to understand what those features are for. As a result, Dr. Daiki forcefully competed with him for books to read. He has memorized and understood some of the features quite well. Dr. Daimu couldn't finish reading it. In his words, researchers naturally need to thoroughly study word for word, sentence for sentence. Unlike someone like him who casually understands and flips through it. Xiaozhi naturally has no way to deal with this, not to mention that Dr. Oki has helped him so much. Just say that now he still has a request for Dr. Oki. So he left the Encyclopedia of Characteristics at the Daiki Research Institute at night for Dr. Daiki to study. I ran back to sleep with Pikachu. In the afternoon, I barely remembered the characteristics of dozens of elves, and I also learned about the functions of many features. At the same time, it also opens the door to a new world for Xiaozhi. So, there are so many characteristics and effects of elves. It's not just about increasing damage, but also about not being able to sleep, not being afraid, and improving attention. Speaking of which, the characteristic of our own Pikachu is static electricity. The system even provides a clear judgment that as long as it is a contact-type attack, there is a 30% chance of causing the opponent to become paralyzed. It's strange. How come Pikachu has played so many games, and the opponent has hardly been paralyzed? Xiaozhi could not help roast. His Pikachu's numbness to others cannot be said to be non-existent, it can only be said that he doesn't remember at all. That's almost as good as not having it. Shaking his head, Xiaozhi didn't think so much anymore. I still want to memorize that book quickly in the next few days. Dr. Sakuraji's research institute is about to open. If possible, it's best to get it done before the opening of the Sakuraji Research Institute. The first time I read a book seriously and memorized knowledge, for Xiaozhi, it's really a very novel thing. He also felt for the first time that reading was not a painful thing. It's better to say that as long as it's related to elves, there's nothing painful. After returning home, Xiaozhi had a late-night snack made by her mother and then slept soundly. During Xiaozhi's sleep, Hualan City, on a soft blue king's bed, the girl with a curvy figure tossed and turned on it, unable to fall asleep for a long time. The girl's orange long hair was scattered on the bed, and the blue pajamas she was wearing couldn't cover her figure at all. At this moment, 2 blushes appeared on her delicate pretty face. What situation? Why did I suddenly dream of Xiaozhi during my nap today? What's so dreamy about that guy? But it's been a while since we last met. And in his dream, he even commanded the Spitfire dragon to win over Ahong. Hey, it's all a matter of time, how can I still remember? The pretty girl patted her cheek. I dreamt of a companion I hadn't seen in a while, and that guy looked so handsome in the arena. This made it difficult for Xiaoxia to fall asleep for a while. In theory, even if I had a dream about Xiaozhi, I shouldn't have let her behave like this. It feels like the thoughts buried in Xiaozhi's heart have been completely stirred up. What's going on? This makes me feel like I've been thinking about that guy all along. I didn't think of him. Xiaoxia, don't spring anymore. What time is it now? Sister's voice suddenly woke Xiaoxia up. She doesn't live alone in this house. Isn't that the sound just now? Ah ah ah. The next morning, Xiaozhi was awakened by the elf ball alarm clock. Under the tug and tug of Pikachu and his mother, Xiaozhi finally woke up early once. In order to memorize the knowledge earlier, Xiaozhi also put in a lot of effort. And this is also an essential part of becoming a Pokémon master. After all, they have all become masters, so we can't just be half a bucket of water in terms of knowledge, can we? So Xiaozhi woke up and quickly finished breakfast. He greeted Pikachu and his mother Huazi, and quickly ran towards the Daiki Research Institute. Has this child taken the wrong medicine recently? Why is he so diligent? Huazi muttered while tidying up the utensils. On the other side, after Xiaozhi arrived at the Daiki Research Institute, the person who opened the door for him was someone he had never met before. No. I can't say I haven't seen it before, I can only say I'm a bit familiar. Are you? Dr. Daiki. Looking at the middle-aged and elderly people wearing white robes with 2 large black circles under their eyes, Xiaozhi tentatively said. Yes. It's me, Xiaozhi. Dr. Daiki's voice sounded very weak, as if he was about to fall in the next second. No, Dr. Daiki, how did you become like this? I spent the whole night reading that Pokémon encyclopedia, and that book was really amazing. I didn't expect that as soon as I looked up, it was already morning. Xiaozhi. What kind of body are you not aware of yourself? People in their 50s and 60s dare to stay up all night. If Xiaomao finds out, he'll have to train you for a day. Come on in first, Xiaozhi. It's not a problem to stand at the door and speak. Dr. Oki first let Xiaozhi in, then he ran straight to the bed next to the research institute and went to sleep. I'm old, I really can't withstand it. At the same time, he asked Xiaozhi if there was anything he didn't understand, so he could read the notes he left on the table at the research institute. Yesterday, not only did he stay up all night reading the Encyclopedia of Elf Characteristics, I also wrote down all the more difficult to understand and obscure features in a more detailed notebook. Dr. Daiki. You are really a good person. Thank you. Xiaozhi thanked Dr. Oki, who was already asleep, then continued to invest in the academic industry. With the help of Dr. Daiki's notes, let's finish reading this book today.